Hey, what's up, guys? We take a change here in chapter 30. Here in chapter 30, as we're walking through the text here, we see that Solomon didn't write this. All of a sudden, Solomon didn't write this, but perhaps Solomon's men compiled this, whatever it might be. But we have this fellow here, the words of Agur. He's son of Jakiah, and he's given an oracle. So that these are proverbs of him. But notice we learn a lot about him in these first verses. And so as we look at these verses, let's see what we can learn about him. He says, the man declares, I am weary of God. I am weary of God, and he's worn out. This guy, man, he is tired. He's been rode hard and put up wet, right? Like a saddle on the back of a horse. And so he also says here, surely I am too stupid of a man. I have not the understanding of a man. I mean, who in the right mind is going to say this? He's saying, I'm not a man. I'm just too stupid. I don't have an understanding. And, I think if we're honest, a lot of times, each of us have times in our lives where we feel like we don't measure up. He says, I've not learned wisdom, nor have I knowledge of, here, notice he says here, of the Holy One, speaking of God. So what do we learn here? He's worn out. He's stupid. He's not a knowledgeable guy. So you're wondering, what in the world does this guy have to offer? But notice what he says here in the text. He says he doesn't have knowledge of the Holy One, but does he? I think that's a question we have to ask ourselves here as it's written in poetic form. He says here, he says who, all these, notice all the who, and then he comes to what. So what are the who's? Here in the text, he says, here in the text, who has what? Ascended the heavens. Who has come down? Who has gathered wind in their fist? I mean, you and we're thinking, man, he's talking about God here. This is a lot like some of the verbiage that we read in Job, at the end of Job, right? Who's wrapped the waters in his garments? Well, there's nobody that's done that but God alone. Elohim, as we read in Genesis chapter 1, who has established the ends of the earth. I mean, who's formed all this, right? I mean, he is talking here about creation. He's talking about here the beauty of everything that's around us. And he says here, now this is really key. It's one of the only places you'll see something like this in the Old Testament. What is his name? And again, he's baiting us a little bit here. Just like he begins very humbly, I'm stupid, I don't have knowledge of the Holy One. Obviously he does. He's baiting us a little bit here. What is his name? It's almost like a rhyme that you would teach your son. And it's almost like catechism here. And he would respond in kind. What is his name? And notice this. Here you go. Check this out. Let's not miss this. And what is his son's name? Surely you know. I mean, this is a reference to Jesus. Looking back, we can see this. When they wrote it at the time, maybe they thought he was talking about those that follow God. But as we look at it, looking back to this text, what is his name and what is his son's name? Well, he knows God has a son. And notice, listen to his declaration. Every word of God is true. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him. That's straight out of the Psalms. That's straight out of a lot of books that we read. I mean, he is speaking truth now. It's responding. And he says, don't add to his word, lest he's going to rebuke you and you're going to be found a liar. Again, this sounds a lot like the last chapters of the book of Job. We also read in the book of Revelation not to add anything to this prophecy. So the rest of this chapter, I want to encourage you to enjoy and take in fully. This guy's not an idiot. He's not dumb. He's not stupid. He's just very humble, and he leads us through some interesting texts. I hope you enjoy today.